Usha, girly, your days as second lady may be numbered.
Now, why do I feel like these two are going to announce that they're an item by the time he's ready to announce his presidential bid?
I confronted Usha Vance. No one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do. And that's why I'm so blessed to be able to introduce him tonight, because he understands.
Usha, you in danger, girl. Usha Vance, you should look for an exit plan.
Yeah, when we wake up and hear Erica Clark was jumped by the Indians. Don't be shocked. Don't be shocked. Do you understand how much Indians are having trust in Usha? Baby, we want you to be president's wife tomorrow. You see, the orange man is about to kick the bucket and you're next in line. Erica Cock wants to steal that from an Indian woman. When I tell you, Indian people will jump Erica Cock somewhere, somehow. I don't know, but I can feel it. It's coming. Why is she trying to kill the Indian woman's dreams? Oh, hell no. We, as the people of color, we do not condone it. So get it together, Erica Clark, because we will show you. Do you know how much witchcraft we can do on you? This is messy. Guys, this is not even a laughing matter, but this is so messy. Erica is so messy. No, like she a gold digger, that's it.
Holy shit, they are trying to replace Usha Vance with Erica Kirk. Because Erica Kirk and JD Vance is their Christian nationalist wet dream. And you won't convince me otherwise. Because what is this? What is this body language? When did we start putting our hands up in the hair of our friends when we hug? Yeah, no, you don't. This is weird. Oh, and then there's this one. JD, why are your hands so low? There's no reason for them to be on her hips, but there they are. But if that's not enough, here is her introducing him at Turning Point.
I am tremendously blessed and honored tonight to be able to introduce to you a very, very dear friend and his wife. They are incredible. And I see no one will ever replace my husband. No. But I do see some similarities of my husband in JD and Vice President JD Vance. I do.
And if you're not convinced yet that they're trying to replace her with Erica Kirk, this is him when asked by a student about him and his wife's difference in like their religious beliefs, and he ends it with this.
Do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
He wants her to fall in line. He wants her to be a Christian nationalist just like him. And if he can't convince her, he'll find a new one.
Usha Didi, what is this behavior? Usha Behan, control your gharwala Behan. Control your JD. First he stole your Kajal, then he ruined your trip to Greenland, and now the Pope? तेरे घरवाले की शक्ल देखने के बाद पोप दुनिया ही छोड़ गया. What the?
And let me tell you something about Miss Ma'am right here, huh? Miss Usha. Oh yeah, we see you, Usha. Honey, it's two baddies in the White House, huh? And don't think because she new to the scene right now that she came here to play. Because sis didn't come here to play with y'all neither, okay? She said, oh, y'all thought Melania was the only one? Huh? It's something about these brooch statement earrings right here that's telling me you think I came to play, but in actuality, I didn't come to play. I didn't come to play. Honey, Miss Usha ma'am said, listen, honey, I'm brilliant, I'm supportive, and I'm fine. Baby, I'm here for it all. I'm here for it all. And I'm taking notes on you, Usha. Huh? Because you up next, sis.
This video is for Usha Vance. If you're not Usha Vance or you're not related to her, to the back. I need Usha to the front. Usha, babe. Pack your bags. Ask for a divorce. Settlement should be $2 billion. And it's going to be infidelity, nothing else. Nobody is wicked like American people. No one is wicked like American people. Tell me why everybody and their mother in America are saying, Usha, babe, it's time for divorce. Because that man ain't yours. Oh, by the way, when you look at her, the way she's looking at him, you can tell she really loves him. But then when you look at the way he hugged her and caressed her and embraced her, I don't know. I'm not trying to cut words, but like it looks like he's into it. We never seen Vice President Vance be so cozy like this with his wife. Let me tell you, Usha Vance loves that man. I tell you. She's not even here for the money. She's not even here for the power. She doesn't even care if she's going to be the first wife tomorrow or not when DJ is gone. She just loves her mans. But her mans loves her as a color card. See, I married an Indian. We're not racist.
So, does anyone else think JD Vance's first wife, Usha, might be looking for an exit plan right about now? I mean, it's bad enough that she's married to a guy who went on national TV and said it's totally fine for Americans to want to live next to people who are just like them and speak the same language. Then, she has to sit back and watch him all over Erica Kirk, who, let's be real, looks like she's trying to lock down another famous guy. But it doesn't stop there. JD Vance literally goes on stage and shames his wife for not being Christian, saying he hopes she'll convert and find the right path. As if that's not enough, he also ties immigration to assimilation, which, if you know anything about Usha's upbringing in a traditional Hindu immigrant family, makes this whole situation extra awkward. I don't know about you, but I can't imagine many women would be cool with their husband talking about them like that in public and then getting all touchy-feely with another recently widowed woman in front of everyone. That's just, wow.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear.
I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith.
That I will bear true faith.
And allegiance to the same.
And allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
That I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
Or purpose of evasion.
Or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge.
The duties of the office.
The duties of the office.
On which I am about to enter.
On which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
She woke up and said the sweetest words about her husband, just to have another woman beat her at her own game. Americans want Usha to leave Vance. We're going to be seeing a divorce very soon. Now, I tell you, I'm not a prophet, but Erica Kirk, do not anger a woman of color. I'm just saying.
My background is very different from JD's. I grew up in San Diego, in a middle-class community. With two loving parents, both immigrants from India, and a wonderful sister. That JD and I could meet at all, let alone fall in love and marry, is a testament to this great country. It is also a testament to JD, and it tells you something about who he is. When JD met me, he approached our differences with curiosity and enthusiasm. He wanted to know everything about me, where I came from, what my life had been like. Although he's a meat and potatoes kind of guy, he adapted to my vegetarian diet and learned to cook food from my mother, Indian food.
This is a video for Auntie Usha Vance. Auntie Usha Vance, does this look normal to you? Married women would you be okay with somebody hugging your husband like this? Now, before you answer, I'm gonna take a wild guess and say hell no. This does not look like a woman who saw her husband get blasted in front of her a month ago. Something is extremely strange about all of this, and I don't know if I want to keep going down the rabbit hole, to be honest with you. But Auntie Usha Vance, you gotta be careful. The vice president looks extremely happy in this picture, and don't get me started on that hand in the hair. And I get it, Washington is freaky deaky. There's some weird stuff happening in Washington. I get that. Auntie Vance, if you're okay with it, disregard this video. But most Indian ladies that I know, they're not cool with that. This picture just caught me off guard. I saw it and I was like, like, what's going on here?
My wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not a particularly religious family in either direction. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way. But if she doesn't, then God says everybody has free will, and so that doesn't cause a problem for me. That's something you work out with your friends, with your family, with the person that you love.
Does anybody else think that JD Vance's first wife, Usha, has got to be looking for an exit plan after the last few days? As if it wasn't bad enough for the woman who was raised in a traditional Hindu home by Indian immigrant parents to have her husband go on national television and say that it's completely reasonable and acceptable for Americans to want to live next to people who are like them and speak their language. She then got to watch her husband put his hands all over the recently widowed Erica Kirk, who's clearly looking for another famous man in her life. And then he goes on stage and religiously shames his wife for not being Christian and tells the whole world that he hopes that she'll convert to Christianity and find the right path. And then at the same event, he ties immigration to assimilation. If you don't understand how that relates to the former statement about Usha Vance's traditional Indian and Hindu upbringing, I'm just curious. I don't know many women who would be okay with their husband going on stage and talking about them like that and then hugging another recently widowed woman the way that he did.
Now, why do I feel like these two are going to announce that they're an item by the time he's ready to announce his presidential bid? Because there have been a lot of headlines recently that seem to be soft launching his divorce. And then we're getting photo ops like this, while he's saying he wishes his wife would convert to Christianity somehow, even though he converted after they got together. And October started with headlines like this, and it's ending in photos like this. While there are headlines about Usha's looks and how the last few months have aged her, even though she spent most of that time on taxpayer-funded holidays, but I digress. And y'all know how I'm really good at predicting stuff like this, so I posted on Threads that seeing things like this, where people are saying that Usha is JD's biggest hurdle between him and the White House, it really makes you think that there's some kind of agenda to move the different players on the board in order to get Erica and James Donald together. So I guess I'm saying save this video and check back in on it in 2027 and see if it came true.
I'm worried about Usha Vance. We don't see her too often in public, but lately when we have, she looks so sad. Well, Wednesday at the University of Mississippi, her husband attended a Turning Point USA event with Erica Kirk. Well, when Erica Kirk was introducing Vance, she said that he was a wonderful friend and that no one could replace her husband, but he reminded her so much of her husband. When Vance came on stage, they embraced. Not a thank you for the introduction hug, an embrace. They were up close, his hands around her waist, and she put her hands all up in his hair. I tell you what, if she'd have touched another woman's husband like that in a bar, she'd got her ass whooped. Well, J.D. Vance did his little bullshit talk, and then he started talking about his wife's religion. She's Hindu, we know that, and I always knew that was going to be an issue. He said that Usha sometimes goes with him to church on Sundays, and that he believed in the Christian gospel, and he hoped that eventually his wife would learn to see it the way he does. So I can see it happening. I can see Vance and Kirk becoming the Barbie and Ken of white Christian nationalism. This may have been planned for a while. I just hope that Usha just walks away, takes her kids, and walks away from this fiasco safely.
Usha, girly, your days as second lady may be numbered. And no, I'm not one of the people out here saying,
oh, they fucking, look at them spark.
I don't think they're having an affair. I don't think just because she was gripping the back of his neck that JD Vance is looking at her like she's a sectional. No. But these are two people really wanting power. They want power at all costs. They want to grow their power. Specifically when it comes to JD Vance, he wants the keys to the MAGA kingdom. And we learned real quick when Vivek hosted that Turning Point USA event and he was pelted with racism from MAGA because of the color of his skin and the fact that he's not a Christian. JD Vance even came out and said he wishes Usha would convert to Christianity because he knows that's going to be an issue with MAGA when he tries to take over. And when he looks at Erica Kirk, she is everything he needs in a second wife. And normally you'd think having a second wife would be a problem for real Christians. But since Donald Trump came around, no one apparently in MAGA cares how many wives you've had in the past.
Have you all seen these pictures of Erica Kirk and JD Vance at the Turning Point event last night? I mean, that's just a little too cozy for my taste. Platonic or not, that is rude and deeply, deeply intimate. But as an astrologer, I am deeply curious as to what is happening in the charts of both JD and Usha. So here we have JD's chart. This is interesting because if you see here, we have Venus, the transiting Venus in Libra, which, you know, is often a indicator of like flirting, maybe relationships, politics. But in this case, this is activating his moon. So the moon for him, there's a lot about intimacy, there's emotional needs. Again, Libra moon, naturally very charming, naturally very flirty. I'm saying charming not for my personal taste, but just, you know, someone who, you know, is like a schmoozy kind of guy. But that moon also rules his 12th house of hidden affairs, some might say, secrets. And what's interesting is he's got that Venus relationships, Leo, celebrity S type of relationships, prolific type of relationships. And so I'm not saying that this is a slam dunk, but what I am saying is there is symbolism that kind of supports the insinuation. Let's just put it that way. And then when you pull up Usha's chart, oh my God, like the Scorpio sun is currently shining a spotlight on this Mars and Pluto situation in her 5th house of romance affairs. And what's really interesting is this 5th house of hers is ruled by Venus. It's ruled by Libra's at the cusp. Venus rules Libra. Her Venus is in Capricorn in her 7th house of the other. Meaning, you can kind of interpret that 5th house as the partner's affairs. Also because the symbolism is this Mars-Pluto situation, which can indicate betrayal. The sun in Scorpio is shining a spotlight on uncovering some truths. It is squaring natally, challenging the Jupiter, meaning Jupiter can sometimes indicate husband symbolism in the chart. You know, Jupiter, like a wealthy man, right? So again, I'm not saying it's confirming this 1000%, but what I am saying is there's a whole lot of symbolism that kind of speaks to the narrative that could be unfolding, especially considering we are in a post-new moon in Libra. It just happened last week, a new beginning in relationships. And not only that, we are coming into a Mercury retrograde where there will be some significant truths revealed.
Have y'all seen what being vice president has done to JD Vance's wife? For reference, this is right after the election. This was her giving one of her first speeches as the second lady. But recently, she's looking a little bit weathered, and this is less than a year. And it seems like the stress of the whole situation is catching up to her. Now, keep in mind, this woman is only 39 years old. I mean, it's gotta be somewhat tough being married to a man who keeps defending white supremacy. Not to mention, they have children together, and these kids look like the type of profile that ICE would probably stop and try and deport. And if we continue down this path of fascism, I don't see this getting any better for her or her kids. In fact, I would be very surprised if MAGA would accept JD Vance based on the fact that his family looks like they do. They can accept it from a vice president, kind of, but a president? I don't see it happening. There will be people pissed off at JD Vance that he married outside of his own race. And none of those people will be from the left. I, for one, feel bad for Usha because I don't think she realized what she was getting into with him. Because the vice presidency was kind of thrusted upon JD. I don't think that he was expecting to be in that position anytime soon. Now that he is, he's gone from, I'm a never Trump guy, to, I'm going to be mean to as many people as I can in public. Hey, Zelensky, I know that you're at war, but did you say thank you to Trump? I didn't hear it. Yeah, I read those text messages where those kids said that rape is epic and that they really love Nazis and stuff like that. But I mean, they're kids. They're just blowing off steam. Forget the fact that they're like over 30. But if you said anything bad about Charlie Kirk, I'm going to make sure you lose your job. I'm sure that JD was somewhat more progressive once upon a time, but he kind of sold his soul off to become vice president or to become eventual president. He's a puppet for Peter Thiel, and I think eventually this is just going to put a breaking point on his relationship with his wife and probably eventually kids. But you know what? If that happens to him, I'm not going to feel any empathy for him. I might feel bad for his wife and his kids, but I don't feel bad for JD. Now, I realize we don't see much of her because we don't really see second ladies that often. We don't really see the first lady hardly at all. But what do you think? Do you think this sudden thrust into the public eye has been rough on her? And if so, do you feel empathy for that? Or do we see her the way that we see Melania? Like, you knew what you were getting into, so don't feel bad. I don't know for sure, but I feel like this might be a little bit of a different situation.
I saw a few TikToks where people are like, oh my God, we gotta save Usha. Save Usha from what? She's got a lie in the couch she made. She married a couch fucker. She married a couch fucker. She had 3 kids with this guy. She's a Brahmin Hindu. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up caste discrimination. I don't feel bad for her. She made the couch. Now she's got a lie in it. Just like Melania, just like everyone else, because no, this white construct of feminism where I'm going to stand by every woman. When you're wrong, you're wrong. Just like skin folks aren't kin folks. When you're wrong, you're wrong. Like, I don't feel bad for you. You married a couch fucker. And now this man is going after this wannabe reality star. Those who know Summer House.
You are married to a woman who is not Christian, but she still calls herself Hindu. How are you teaching your kids not to keep your religion ahead of their mother's religion?
You asked a personal question about our interfaith household. And yes, my wife did not grow up Christian. I think it's fair to say that she grew up in a Hindu family, but not a particularly religious family in either direction. In fact, when I met my wife, we were both, I would consider myself an agnostic or an atheist, and that's what I think she would have considered herself as well. You know, everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. Our 2 oldest kids who go to school, they go to a Christian school. Our 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago. That's the way that we have come to our arrangement. But, thank you. Do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way.
Usha, you in danger, girl. Usha Vance, you should look for an exit plan. Because I've been married for, oh my God, I don't even know how many years. Almost 9 years. I've been with my wife for almost 15 years. And I've never even thought about putting my hands on another woman like he has for Miss Erica Kirk. So there's that. Yeah, Usha, you should start to question a few things if you haven't already. It's pretty alarming. It's pretty alarming what has been happening, and especially what your husband's been saying, about like mixing cultures and all that. He doesn't seem like he's a fan of that right now. I'd look for an exit plan.
I see Usha Vance getting more and more coverage and people feeling bad for her and saying that she needs an exit plan, and I'm here to tell you that you should not feel bad for her. Usha has been who she has been for a very long time. She clerked not only for Judge John Roberts, but she also clerked for Brett Kavanaugh. So the girl has a record. Just because now he's disrespecting her religion, her ethnicity, her brown children, her parents' immigration status, now in the public eye, doesn't mean that he hasn't been doing it for a very long time and she hasn't been okay with it. She was more than happy to go with the happy press tour, like, oh, we're such a happy family and he loves my immigrant story. And then once Trump got elected, he's like, let's take people's citizenship away from them. She cannot be blamed for the policies that the White House is enacting, but her complacency and her career history shows us that she's perfectly okay with this. Whether she stays with him or not, I promise you she is going to always lean conservative, always lean right, and is perfectly okay with what's going on.
I need you to tell me in the comment section, where do you think this is going? Where do you think this is going? No, because 2028, Erica Kirk. Erica, how many times did I call you? Listen to your Africa auntie before you go and turn your entire face. Hey!